Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to the Balls Out podcast. I hope you're really well. I hope you're kind of over all of the dramatics that went on yesterday. Quite a good game in the end. We will talk about that. Loads of transfer things coming out. A lot's come out in the last half an hour. Bit of a late one, this one. A late notice one as well. So thank you, Marc and Nathan, for joining me too. How are you guys? Nathan, you first.
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Yeah, like you say, it was a bit last minute. Felt like we had to do one because we couldn't really ignore yesterday's result. So, bit of a mad rush to get it going, but glad we got a chance to get on and talk about it. But yeah, I'm good, mate.
Good to hear. Marc, over to you, buddy.
Yeah, no, exactly the same. You can't not have a show after that game against Liverpool, and Amarin's comments after that game as well, which I absolutely love. So yeah, we'll just see. This week's got a lot in store for it, by the looks of things.
Yeah, we will talk about some of his comments actually. Yeah, I'm just trying to find it. But we will talk about some of those. Anyway, so 2-2 draw yesterday at Anfield. Failed to score there since 2018. Failed to take a point from there since 2018. I think everyone beforehand, everyone saw the Neville and Carragher and all those kind of interviews afterwards, sort of suggesting that fans were completely writing us off. They were talking about the size of the score lines, and it was almost a bet on how many goals they were going to score. Didn't quite work out like that, did it? And to be honest with you, I think it's really important to note, and we've spoken about this before, and I think, Marc, you and I spoke about this last week, he hasn't had a solid week training. Last week was the first solid week he had. Now, that really poses the question, what they do in the meantime. This is something we're never going to understand, okay? But essentially, I think from what I understand, it's just basic training. But he's been able to have that week to be able to instill a bit more of his philosophy. So in a month and a half and not being able to have a full week to do it says a lot. And this is why it's so important that managers get in the summer so they can do all this. They have the time, they have the players, they do all of this kind of thing, and also get the time to get in their players that they want. And I think that, listen, I don't want to get ahead of myself. It's one game. We've seen a game here and there when it's good and you all get carried away, and then next week it goes to shit again. But I was quite impressed, thinking about that on its own. I was really impressed by how they played yesterday. And Marc, I'll come over to you first, and I just want to get your thoughts on the result yesterday.
I got to admit, I wasn't that surprised at the result because, let's be fair, you look at our games, City, the last 3 games against City, great results. Liverpool Cup, good result. It does sort of feel that that's what we do, and that's probably the biggest fear from all the United fans. It's a big game. We get up for it. We get something. We get a point, or we get battered. It's always been chalk or cheese. But I felt that we could do something against them because the players have got to prove a point. And that's when we get onto it. That's sort of what Amarin was saying. You can't be doing this against the big teams and not against the small teams.
Yeah.
But no, the game yesterday could have gone either way. The penalty decision, just don't even get me started. Like the guys
Delict. Right. I agree. And I think if you compare it to some others, particularly some that were given against us, the Spurs one, the Man City.
How about the one they didn't even look at?
Yes, and in the same game, the same thing happened. They didn't look at it. I agree. There's definitely not consistency there, and I think that I agree. I am on the side that it was a penalty, but I think that every single one should be looked at. And again, there is a fine line. Where's that fine line? It's so ambiguous, and it makes it very, very difficult, doesn't it? I think it was a penalty. I think it should have stood, but I agree with you. Other ones should have been looked at, and previously, where we played Spurs, where we played City, they should have been looked at. So,
yeah. But no, all in all, I was more than happy with what they did. It's easy to say, or people to think, they did the basics well. They kept the ball, and they got back into shape.
Yeah.
If you're going to do anything, that's all he would have worked on this week, and I think it's pretty much what he alluded to as well.
Yep.
Don't give the ball away because they're going to punish you with the players they've got, and.
We didn't, did we? And no. We didn't. It was Liverpool making the mistakes. I think special shout outs actually go to Ugarte and Mainu. I think they were both sensational in the middle and did exactly that, as you were saying there.
Yeah, but no.
Might have lost him a little bit.
We lost him.
You there, mate?
I'll go off the back of what you were saying there. Ugarte and Mainu were excellent in the middle of the park, really controlled the pace of the game and really kept it together for us. And other special mentions, again, Martinez really stepped up yesterday after a bit pretty lately having poor form.
Yeah.
Maguire is one who was outstanding.
He was outstanding.
Yeah, he was unbelievably good and who would have thought that a 3-4-3 formation would actually might get the best?
Well, he did this a lot at Leicester, and I don't think it's a surprise. He was playing as that middleman, and as soon as he got that cover to the right and the left of him, I think he's all right. And I think that's what the big problem is.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
And England. Don't forget, he was doing three at the back for England.
Really a special mention for him. He was really good, especially after there was a lot of talk, obviously, after us triggering his contract extension. There was still a lot of talk on social media saying surely that was one of the players that we were all thinking he should be sold, etc. Mm-hmm. Since the whole potentially moving to West Ham sort of fell through and that sort of summer of sort of disarray from Maguire, he really has stepped into his own, especially after losing the captaincy. You would expect a lot of really high-egoed players. Not saying he is an high ego player, but you know what I mean. He's definitely one that's just literally just knuckled down, and he's definitely playing some of the best football that we've needed him to play since we signed him. I thought Fernandes again. He
was amazing. That's the best he's played. I mean, the thing is, we know Bruno. He's come in and he got those numbers in the first season. We won't ever see that again. That's not the type of player he is anymore, and certainly not what he's been doing to us in this system. But he, as a number 10, sensational, very good, high press, really trying to create something. And as a almost dropping back into the 8, maybe even further back just to pick up the pieces, sensational, really worked very hard, didn't he?
Yeah, he was brilliant.
He was highly disciplined yesterday. I'm not a massive fan of when he runs around, but yesterday there wasn't much of that. Again, it showed. And it showed when Garnacho came on as well.
I'm not against him moving far back if it gets results, and you could see him sort of dropping in behind Ugarte and Mainu every now and again, and it actually paying off, rather than him being all the way back there and not being available for anything else. He was still making the right runs in the right ways to actually make things happen, especially like you say when Garnacho came on.
I think that 8's his better position anyway. I don't think a 10 is his position. I think he's a quarterback knocking the balls for someone else. So
yeah, I think we saw that particularly in his first season under Ten Hag, him drop back into further back, not playing as high. Prior to that, it was Ollie, wasn't it? And playing very high with those big numbers. And this is my frustration with a lot of fans, is they'll look at those numbers and think, right, we need to get those week in, week out. It doesn't quite work like that. If you're playing further back, you're not going to see those. If you are a risky midfield player like he is, and he's playing further forward, a lot of those passes are going to go awry. So you can't get frustrated that sometimes he's going to give the ball away. All these kind of little variables that piss me off. But anyway, I'm trying to find his comments yesterday, Mark. So please chime in. I can't find anything at the moment of what Amrim said after the game, his post-match. I know that he said he was very angry. And he highlighted sort of the mentality of the squad, really. He's been here less than 2 months, highlighted the mentality of the squad.
It was more the fact that he preempted what a journalist would say in the fact of, now you're going to say, we've beaten City, they've beaten Liverpool, they're more than capable. And he said, and the fans are going to be happy with this, but I'm not. If anything, I'm the person who's going to be angry with them, implying, why are you not doing this against the other teams? They stayed in it. We went our heads, we went a goal up, we lost 2, and we kept pushing forward. We didn't go, oh, that's another game we've lost. They kept trying and trying and trying, and at the end, it was there to win. Yet when we've looked at the lesser teams under him, that hasn't been the case, has it? They haven't chased them down. But maybe that's the Premier League, him not understanding it. Those lesser teams, or so-called on paper lesser teams, they don't go away. They get in front, they sit behind, and you've got to break them down. They're happy to defend. Liverpool, they want to keep attacking. Man City, they want to keep attacking. Arsenal, everyone like that. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a little bit of him learning the league, but I got his point was keep fighting. You should fight for everything. Because Bruno says something similar in his post match. Like, it hasn't been good enough. We know we can do it.
Yeah. Just to go into a bit more detail, I didn't realise there was a game on tonight. I totally forgot. So Forest are beating Wolves 1-0, and it's not, for those of you playing FPL, Chris Wood this week. Woods. It's Morgan Gibbs-White at the minute, and not even an assist for Wood. So yeah, 1-0 at the moment. I should imagine they'll go on to win that. They're on some form, aren't they? On some form. Lots coming out today, obviously about transfer stuff, obviously massive at the moment. You know me, Nathan, as well. I'm always trying to plug in loads of stuff as the windows come round. So a couple of things to cover. Rashford today, there's lots to talk about him. AC Milan was a name this morning. Napoli swap for Osimhen. And now another swap that's come out in the last hour or so to suggest that he might be swapped with is it the Polish winger? I cannot pronounce his name. I'm not going to butcher it. And I was trying to do it backstage with these two and fucked it royally. So I'm not going to bother. But a lot of people saying that he is highly rated. I don't watch enough of him. Don't have enough idea about him. So three potential things there. Nathan, I'll come to you on that first. I know that we've spoken about Rashford. I don't want to talk about that situation too much, but feel free to cover that if you'd like. But what do you think will happen this January if he goes at all?
I don't think he'll go at all. I personally think we will wait till the summer, and I think Ruben's still got a lot of wiggle room with him to try and get him into the shop window for the summer. And the idea of a swap deal doesn't appeal to me in the slightest, especially with I've been adamant that if we're going to go into the market, it needs to be for proven Premier League talent.
I agree, but at the moment with the PSR issues, I think we're going to really struggle to do that. And I think that maybe swaps are our pinnacle at the moment until we have that alleviation somewhat.
But then if you're looking at, I don't know how much money Osimhen's on a week, but it's got to be a lot. So the idea of losing Rashford in January with a swap deal for him, you're not really making a dent in a wage bill there. You're not really going.
He'd want the same money.
Yeah, he's going to be one. He's going to be one of
about 250.
So if we're looking at the way sort of Ineos are sort of changing the way they're doing their deals, it's not an Ineos idea to swap Rashford that's on 350 plus a week for Osimhen, who's going to want 350 plus a week for someone that hasn't scored any goals in the Premier League, as far as I'm aware. Yeah. So it doesn't appeal to me, the idea of an unproven Premier League player. I would rather, if I'm honest, I'd rather get loans for the injury issues that we've got to last us until the summer, and then try and get a big, a decent fee for Rashford in the summer, in the hope that Ruben's probably got a bit of wiggle room with him to sort of say, look, just give us 15 of your best games and we'll get you a decent move in the summer. And I think a lot of United fans would appreciate that. We just want him to give his all. And then, if he wants to go in the summer, that's it. Happy days.
I do agree with you, actually. I think it's very much a win-win, isn't it? It gets the fans off his back. It gets what we need for the 6 months. It gets an increase in price if he goes. It gets necessarily what he might want in the summer. And I think it is a win-win. So I do agree with you. And yes, we've spoken about this before, this whole wage thing, trying to cap that. It's not going to help anything if we're doing swap deals for Osimhen. If we do it for the Polish winger, who isn't on as much. I know that for a fact. I had a little look beforehand, but still can't pronounce his name. That's okay in my eyes. So we'll have to see. I've just been sent this by Nathan, so thank you very much for that, mate. Just to recap what he said after the post-match, just to cover that very quickly. That should be a big issue for our players, that even one person thinks you have the ability but not the character. We have to fight that and change that. I think it's really clear when we are focused, when we fight for every ball, when we suffer, we are tired. And we are tired when the game is finished. We're a good team. If we don't do that all the time, then we are going to lose games. That is clear to everybody. We control very well the tempo of the game. Every time Liverpool had a chance, we controlled and had to had the ball for a moment, that makes a difference. You could see in the game, it was not like we are not suffering all the time because we controlled the ball, sometimes winning fouls, controlling the transitions. It was a good game. So really does highlight a lot. And Mark, as you mentioned earlier, covered quite a lot of what he probably thinks about the mentality of this team. And it needs to change. And the thing is, the mentality thing is not necessarily on the player's ability and what we've been used to. I think that when you've lost and it's been so turbulent and you've changed managers and you're changing owners and all these things that we as fans do not understand, it's going to have a massive impact on someone's mentality. We know that there are players there that do have, and I don't care what anyone says, the ability, and they can do something within this team or at least another team in the system somewhere else. And I think that he's already noticed that. And yeah, I'm obviously really pleased by those comments there. What else have we got? So there was reports a moment ago, and I'll come to you on this, Mark, first, let me just find it, Nuno Mendes from PSG. We spoke about him a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? And we were talking about our favourites, what our thoughts were. So it's just come out a moment ago by the Telegraph, relatively high tier, pretty much. Man United are pushing for a deal to bring in Nuno Mendes. Rumour Amorim wants to make Mendes his first signing at United. The deal will be difficult to finalise this month for PSG, hoping he will stay. Played under Amorim at Sporting. Obviously going to be part of that system. Probably not right for PSG because they don't play that system. So what do you think about that anyway, Mark? And I don't know until they're in the shirt and all this. I get that.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on him?
Yeah, it's an awkward one, isn't it? Because we all had this thing about Ten Hag signing people who had played for him. He's got a formation. He was trying to bring in people to play for him. Now, Amorim, apparently from what I've seen since we've been live, this is his number one target. This is his must-have player. Right? He's played under him, and he knows the formation.
I'm sure we could do a play on words under him, Amorim. We'll work that one out later.
Yeah, under Amorim, Amarillo. But so he would play your right. I don't know if he'd play where Ahmad is in the right-sided 10 or play the right-sided midfielder, where Mazraoui's playing. So it's all a little bit chop and change, because then are we taking Mazraoui out of the team? Are we putting Mazraoui over to our left? Are we putting him as a right-sided centre-back, where really most of us want either Euro or De Ligt playing? But De Ligt's probably been the worst of our three centre-backs yesterday. Committed. Yep. It's the second time I've seen him strong pass a player.
Very strong for the rest of the season. I think he's been one of our better players. I think De Ligt is a really good acquisition, actually. And I get frustrated with fans, not you, Mark, but fans already being on him. It's a bit disjointed, trying to find his relationships. We've spoken about this years ago. Ferguson said you always build a relationship with that centre-back pairing. When you're changing that left, right and centre, of course you're going to have problems. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
But, what I was going to say is I think De Ligt is the centre pin of the three, where he's playing Harry Maguire. I think they're the same player. That should be the interchange. But I don't want Murray out of the team. Mm-hmm. So, although I know he plays left back for his country, because Hakimi plays as the right back, it's still a weird player to fit in because of the Ahmad development, and then that's more players pushing over towards the left. You said about Rashford. If we swap Rashford, I want to swap him for a 10 or a left-sided player because that's what we need.
Yeah.
So it's another signing where, yes, he's great. He's a great player and he has got a lot of talent. But is he that? That's not the position we need right now.
You don't think
spending money in a player that fits the system, but not what we necessarily need.
So you don't think that the left-sided wing-back is what we need? Is that what you're saying?
He plays right side, doesn't he?
No, he's left-sided.
I thought he played the right side.
Let me have a look. I'm absolutely sure.
He doesn't want to do it because he's inverted?
I mean, he could play both, maybe. Let me just have a little look. But I'm sure he's a left-sided wing-back. But I might be wrong.
If he is, then that's what we need. He's an attacking wing-back. And that's what we want, is an attacking wing-back. But
just going to go on transfer market and have a look.
Also,
you have a look. But from my understanding of his system was
left-sided,
3 centre backs,
left-sided, left midfield, left back. Yeah.
Then great.
Which makes it easier for us, I think.
Yeah, and we stick Shaw straight on the transfer list.
Yeah, I mean, Shaw is pretty much going to have to go, isn't he? I love him to pieces on his day.
Or he's going to end up on his mum's benefits, but he's quoted it himself now.
Oh, yeah. We've all seen that video. That did make me chuckle.
In that case, that's me misunderstanding. I could have swore he was played right side for PSG when I've seen him play.
I mean, he might have done. But I think predominantly he's a left wing back, yeah.
Well, we can't talk, can we? Because we play a right foot on the left and a left foot on the right.
Exactly. And we're just trying to fit square pegs round holes, aren't we?
But again, like I said backstage, when he puts we get not a here we go, but the offer's been accepted because they're going to want big money for him, more than he's worth, especially in January where you pay like an extra 20%.
Yeah.
So, but it's the right thing. He fits. He knows how to play that role.
Yeah.
But if
Nathan, do you want to...
100%... Sorry,
go on.
I was going to say 100% if he's sided, then yes, that's what we need. That's what I'll be happy with.
I think it's our biggest... I think it's our biggest thing to fill at the moment. Lots of people talking about strikers. I don't agree. Lots of people talking about midfielders. I think that's our second priority. And lots of people talking about centre-backs. I think that's the least of our priorities behind striker.
Before we go any further, you said about strikers... Did you hear that stat on Sky about Højlund? Had one shot a game. His average is one shot a game, but he's got the second highest conversion rate in the Premier League.
Is that a good thing? Does that say?
Yeah, it says if you give him 2 shots a game, he guarantees you a goal.
Yeah,
but that also shows that we're not giving him enough service to get 2 or 3 or 4 shots a game.
So we need a striker. If he's got that second best conversion rate, probably behind Haaland, then do you see?
Or is he making the wrong decisions in games?
Could be
in the right positions.
I've seen so many arguments, and Nathan, you'll be privy to this as well, of people going in on Højlund, and I get the frustrations. I see that, but he's raw, he's young. We've spoken about this before, and I do think it is a lot of service. I appreciate Bruno Fernandes still high creation and all this kind of thing, but I mean, for a striker, the kind of minimum conversion rate you want and a middle of the road one you want is about 20%. So if you get any more than that, that's deemed good, okay, above average. Can we see Twitter comments? Can we?
Apparently so. Apparently,
I don't know how.
That
is that on Twitter? Oh, it is. Oh, yes. I didn't see that. Well, anyway, you can ignore everything I've said in previous shows. Get your comments in on Twitter, and I will put them out, and we will read them. Thanks very much, Naomi. I hope you're doing really well, and good to see you in the comments. While we're there, actually, Nathan, just very quickly, before I come over to you in the next one, get liking, get subscribing, come over to YouTube. Don't even have to do that now. Stay on Twitter if you want. Get some comments in, ask us questions, and we'll talk about them and give us some opinions on what you think. Nuno Mendes being the first one. Rashford we've spoken about. Let us know what you think and what you'd like to sign or get rid of. The next one I want to talk about, and I'm going to give you 2 here, Nathan, is Johnny Evans been linked with Rangers today. And I just need to find that again because I'm going about Twitter trying to find everything. And yeah, basically, bollocks. Sounded out to go to potentially Rangers, and I am going to find this for you. But give me your thoughts on that, and then I'll give you the proper information.
Well, it's no surprise really, but again, it's another signing or another player we could still do with until the end of the season, considering we've still got the FA Cup that we may still be in come Monday morning, and we've still got a bit of a decent enough push now in the Europa League to try and get into at least the playoff positions to then go into the next round. So we're going to need players like that just to give a little bit of balance. Go on.
Johnny Evans has been suggested by the Rangers board as a possible transfer option to help try and ease their current defensive crisis. By Scott Burns. Don't know who Scott Burns is. Got a fair following. Sure he knows his stuff. That's what he said.
Yeah. I mean, who hasn't got a defensive crisis at the minute? he could go to many, many clubs in that respect. But no, again, I'm looking more for players either going out on loan and coming back for experience, or there's players that we need to get in on loan. I don't think Johnny Evans, getting rid of him now, as much as he's obviously getting to the end of his career, but what is the end of a career nowadays for football? But it's just another player that you could do with in certain situations.
So do we though? And I'll just put this to you. I don't think he fits the new system now. I agree with you. Johnny Evans, last season, great player to have around the dressing room, leadership, all that kind of thing. I think based off this season, with the amount of times he hasn't played and the injuries, could it be an opportunity potentially, as we got him for free, to maybe make 5 million? Do you know what I mean? And is he really going to get in front of Yoro, De Ligt, Mazraoui, Martinez, Harry Maguire? I'm not sure he does.
No, you're probably right in that respect. So, but no, you're probably right. If we're going to lose any of them, Johnny Evans has been a servant twice now at the club, and he's never let us down at all. So you can see it, but I still think he will hold out for maybe staying in England, whether that still be in the Premier League or maybe moving to like an Ipswich, like if they were to stay up potentially, even if they didn't. You can imagine him playing in sort of like a top-tier championship side.
But then that's Rangers, isn't it? That's the same level.
Well, no, the championship's still a bit of a higher level than Scottish football.
You're going to upset some people.
Scottish football, we're not Rangers and Celtic. That's a debate. But
well,
he said it with chest. He said it with chest.
I think Conkey is.
They would probably beat Derby's lowest points rally if they were in the Premier League. Let's put it that way.
You think? I'm not. I think it'd be close now. I'll ask Reese because he's a Rangers fan and see what he says.
We've had this discussion on an old Future of Football show, what they would do. And then we came up with this really weird thing that there would be a playoff between the Championship playoff winner and the Scottish Premier League winner, and they would fight it out in a playoff final to then who goes into the Premier League.
Right, we don't want to get on to that now, but one thing I will say,
we'll save that.
If they survive one season, the money injected into the club and staying in the Premier League would change that club.
Yeah, we discussed that. We said the money aspect for them would be...
It's the money they have when they start. If they can survive 1 or 2 seasons, there's no way they wouldn't become a middle of table team. No one wants to go to Scotland and play. We don't like going there. We've got to go down and play them. And I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's February time, isn't it? Not looking forward to that at all.
So, you say about Evan, before Nathan goes on to the other one, Conkey, is it pronounced Conkey? Or Konkai, or something like the youngster, he's put on the bench. He's an up-and-coming centre-back. Is that Evans' replacement? But then that's another 18-year-old.
I don't know who that is. I'm so out of touch at the moment. I can't even do my job.
It's like you don't even watch football.
It's like I don't even fucking watch football. Now, honestly, I'm a lot more with it than I'm giving my... Yeah, it's all last minute, isn't it, Nathan?
We've had a mad 48 hours.
It's Goodwill Conkey. It is one hell of a name. Goodwill.
I know all the youngsters, and I'm pissed off that I
clip that.
Anyway, clip it. Do what you want with it. Take the piss out of me. You do what you like. Right, Diego Leon, left back from the Uruguayan league, plays for Cerro Porteño. Probably fucked that up as well. Anyway, will travel to Manchester this month to undergo his medical, and Man United will formally announce his signing. 4 million, I think, around about. So I think the fee's 3.8 actually, and I think his market value is 4. Don't know much about him. Another left back could be another option. Harry and Mass, which I'm going to move on to as well, will not be joining Leicester on loan this month. He remains available though, still for loan. So I wonder with Diego Leon coming in, Harry Mass. I'm surprised by Harry Mass. I really rate him. Saw a lot of him in the summer, and I'm a bit disappointed that he didn't get played more. A bit disappointed he's been in the squad so much, hasn't even made an appearance. It's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Any thoughts on that, you two?
I've got no thoughts on the Uruguayan league player. I've got, like I've said already, I know for PSR reasons we can't go out and buy proven Premier League talent at the moment. Yep. But I was always under the impression that loaning even older Premier League experience. Like imagine when we got Reguilon and nobody anticipated how good he was actually going to turn out. He wasn't brilliant. He wasn't the best, but he gave
did a
everything.
part, didn't he?
He gave everything. Yeah, absolutely. So players like that are going to get us out of shit for the next 6 months is what we're looking for. Buying players from the Uruguayan Pro League or whatever it's called. Unless it's how old was he? Did it say
17.
So he's a youngster.
17,
so he's not going to be going straight into the first team. So it's a chance.
No.
He's on the books. So it might be a case of you get him on the books and loan him out to a European club.
I don't think he's even doing that. I think this is another 18s and 21s player that they're bringing in a bit like the booth at the start of the season.
Yeah. If it's someone for the future, you can understand it. But even 4 million or 3.8 million for a player for the future might be a bit of a push. But, Jesus.
Marc's fallen over.
What you want?
He was shocked when I said 4 million.
How much?
But no, Harry, I'm surprised that a lot of the youngsters that we saw in the summer, like the pre-season, haven't made more appearances because we really raved about Toby Collier and we really raved about Harry Amas.
Yeah.
And I even go back to when Charlie Savage played last season and then we sold him in the summer. And I was genuinely annoyed because youngsters like that looked like they were giving their all when they came on.
Collier's been injured. He's only just come back into full training, ready for matches. That's why you saw him on bench for the last 2 games.
Harry Amas is a strange.
You are right. I thought he should have been doing more, but
I anticipated more from Harry Amas. Not more from him, but more appearances given to him. I think he's done well enough, and I think maybe because we've gone out of the League Cup might have hurt that sort of chance.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, that's a good point. Couple more for you then. Casemiro. So, obviously, as you already know, United are keen on to sign a midfield replacement for Casemiro, and moving him on would help fund that. There has been interest today by Saudi, and I think he's been given the green light. So the Saudi Pro League is hopeful of signing Casemiro this month. The most likely destination is Al Nassr, with Cristiano Ronaldo keen on the deal. Of course he is. Might as well be the board member there, mightn't he? Casemiro is also open to the Saudi move. Now, from what I understand from our good friend Sean Maroney, he said that I think they need to sell a foreign player in order to accommodate, or someone within that league in order to accommodate Casemiro. But it could be £30 million, not euros, pounds, which obviously is quite a huge fee, I would say. Maybe a couple of seasons ago, you'd think, not enough, but not bad.
It's half of what we paid for him. So
yeah. And let's be honest, one season he was incredible, and then since that, lost his legs so much. We know that. Anyway, so that's another one. The Anthony. So there was talks about Real Betis the other day.
Is that a local side in Manchester, Real Betis, Sunday League or something like that? Because that's about he's going.
Is that my pronunciation you're taking the piss out of there, or is it?
No, that's his footballing ability.
Professional club.
Oh, I see.
Maybe he can go to Rangers or Celtic.
Maybe. But anyway, so there was talks about that yesterday, and I think there's still murmurings this morning. But Olympiacos have contacted United for Anthony on loan. The Greek league is not Anthony's priority, though. That was 18 minutes ago that came out. Also, another big one. United, Tottenham, Juventus, and there was one other side there. This was tweeted by Ornstein, by the way, are exploring a January deal to sign Randall Kolo Muani. And again, Sean will tell us that he wasn't interested in him, is a good player, but that's because they had the profile for Chelsea, that is, and didn't want him last summer. But thoughts?
Bidding wars we don't want to get involved in.
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. We either go for players that only want to come to us.
Well, I think this is a loan, by the way. This isn't a permanent. I think they're looking to potentially have a loan to option or just a loan.
Yeah. I don't know about what Nathan thinks, but loan to buy, that's a no-no.
Option to buy.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't have a problem with.
I don't think they want to buy him. It's just cover, just to kind of you get something in before the summer comes. Yeah. Get him playing, give us something, another outlet, something that fits our team that will cover us until the summer when we want to get who we want to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this might be a window. This January window might be a an opportunity for us to get the balls in place for the summer, sort of getting like pre-contract signed.
But we're all about getting balls out, Nathan. So...
Well, yeah, but in this sense, for Red Devils roundup, we want the balls to be very much in place and ready for the summer, and then you can get your balls out as much as you fucking like in the summer. You know what I mean?
Not too much. Not too much.
Only on certain beaches.
It's going to say exactly in the right places, please.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, man, we can make so many spins on certain euphemisms on here, can't we? It's fun, man. I hope everyone is enjoying it as much as we chuckle to ourselves about it. Xerxes, did we cover Xerxes? We spoke about it back behind the scenes, didn't we, before we started, Marc? So
we
I know
spoke you don't think it's that weird, but I do because of the player being linked coming the other way.
Yeah, I'll give my 2 pennies in a second. Go on, you first.
Well, Xerxes going to Juve, it's his old manager, makes perfect sense. You know, he knows how to get the best out of him. I get that. But if you're going to compare Xerxes to Vlahovic, however you pronounce his name, they're night and day. Yeah, it's someone we would link with, 2-3 seasons ago? Before he went to Juve. And I thought, him, Osman, and someone else were the 3 strikers, and he was probably on the list. He's mobile, he's big, he's strong, and he's young. We don't need a striker. I know if we get rid of Xerxes, we need a striker, but if we get rid of Xerxes and Rashford, we only have one known striker. But when's he ever going to get his chance if we're not putting him out?
See,
who trains with the first team every day?
I do see your points, and again, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I can see both sides of the coin. I quite like Xerxes, and I think he needs to be given more time. I think it would be strange for him to leave so early, but the opportunity to work with his old manager, as you said, could be what he wants. I think that a striker is higher priority than you do, Marc, but it would be third on my list behind a midfielder and a left back. Okay. I do think that there is service issues, and I think that someone else might tell you that absolutely not. It's Xerxes and Højlund that are the problem. But I think that there could be more done with, and I know you're shaking your head, and I kind of agree with you, really. It would be a strange one, but if it means that we can get funds, potentially someone else. But do we want to do that? Do we not want to fuck about? But this is why we might be after Moani. And this is why, potentially Rashford's replacement, So who knows? Come the end of deadline day, we'll know exactly what's going on. But I think it is all a bit got to take it with a pinch of salt at the minute, haven't we? So it's think
weird. Do you not think it's weird he's been linked to 2 swap deals so far? Right, so there must be a swap deal going on behind the scenes, and they're trying to work out who it is, because Rashford swapped for Osman. That's a striker for what we would class a left winger. Yep. Xerxes for this Juve player, if I'm not going to butcher his name again, right? Swap deal.
It's Vlahovic. I got you back.
Ever hear of a swap deal in Premier League football? There are no swap deals in the Premier League.
But I think no one's got any fucking money at the moment, mate. That's the problem. Man. I think everybody is really struggling. Madrid haven't got anything. United haven't got anything. I don't think other clubs are ready to what you saying fuck all to, Nathan?
I've got fuck all. As in, I've got no money.
Yep.
No one's got any fucking money.
No, that's very true. It's January.
January. You're looking at reducing the wages. And the player, if you're going to do a swap, has got to be a lesser player. You've got to want to get that player out and reduce the wages coming in. And the players we're being linked with, as we said, are on the same money or very similar.
This is why I think that Vlahovic deal is absolute bollocks, to be honest with you. I think that the one from Napoli, the winger, is certainly more viable. And I agree. I think that's just a name that's been touted. And I think the Osman thing is I think it probably has a bit more legs, but I would agree with you. I think that's just another. Yeah,
I think Napoli wanted 70 million for the winger originally in the summer. So
maybe. I mean, but to be honest with you, Rashford, I don't care what anyone says, probably not as high stocks as normal. Certainly after a couple of years ago, I think that he's at least a 70 million player on his day, and I think that Napoli, he will suit the Italian league, and they're probably looking at it thinking, "Fucking hell, we're getting the right player on our hands here, and maybe it is a like for like." Who knows?
Well, he saw what they got out of McTominay, and I think, oh bloody hell!
Yeah, and McTominay, probably Agent McTominay, is in the back going, get him. You know what I mean? So why not?
Can we swap deals for McTominay? Can he?
No, I wouldn't have him back. Honestly, I love him, and I think he's doing wonders there. But he suits this league. He would come back.
Everyone.
he would come back to the Premier League. He can, because they're slow as shit. You see milk turn quicker. All right, so that's why. But I don't think I love him. But no, I wouldn't have him back. I just don't think he suits the Premier League as well as what we thought.
Going back to Xerxes, I would be happier if he was going to go out on loan with us retaining the option to keep him. If they would, so let's say Juventus won him for however much.
That's what I think.
So let's say he goes to the end of the season, and then Juventus go, we want to buy him, and we just go, well, he's just scored, let's say, 15 goals for you. No, we're gonna take him back.
Be an option to buy, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want a concrete sort of buy at the end of the season. I want that to be a loan deal, see what he's made of. And then if the option's there, Juventus want him, then we can take it, or vice versa.
Or even that's a swap option, because if he's dislodging the other striker, do you see what I mean? If he's knocking someone out, and you think, well, actually,
we should always.
I hope he's knocking no one out.
Yeah, no, but I don't want to be buying players that are being dislodged from anywhere, because you want players that have been playing.
Chris Wood has just scored for my FPL, and it's now 2-0 to Forest.
Fantasy Premier League teams all over the world.
I am lucky as fuck, but killing it this year. So just to bore you a little bit, I'm in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 leagues, and I'm top of all of them and second in one. And I am 29,000 in the world at the minute, killing it. Anyway, enough about me. Go on, Nathan.
Yeah, we'll move on from that rather quickly. I'm very much under the impression that if we were going to lose Xerxes for the rest of the season, I would be fine with that, as long as he came back to us a better player.
I've got a nice little round off question for both of you, actually. Ooh. You were talking about Premier League proven. How about someone like Chris Wood? He has banged them in this season as a number 9.
How old is he?
I don't know. Let me
look it up.
Chris Wood. No. Tell me why.
No.
He's 33.
Style of play.
He
is a old-fashioned centre forward. Absolutely love him. I love the way he plays.
That's a Stew player all day long.
At all.
That's a Mr. Woolley player all day long.
It is. I'll have to clip that up and send it to him.
Yeah, we will. No, I think if we were going to, when I say proven Premier League, I was like back in the summer, I was hoping for an Ivan Toney deal. Obviously, that never materialised, because that's a proven goal scorer, Premier League, regardless of the betting ban or whatever. I don't even know how he's doing out there. Like, I've got no idea how he's doing. That's a good point.
Don't know. Yeah,
but yeah, players like that have done it at the highest level, and we would have got him for I say a bargain price, but it would have been cheaper than he would have been at his pomp.
Mm-hmm.
So players like that, Chris Wood is very much. I like Chris Wood. Obviously,
even with 12 goals this season.
But you've got to look at what kind of goals they are.
Doesn't matter.
Goals in that respect.
It really does, because when he plays against us, the ball's coming in from deep. He's getting his head on it. He's in the air. He's flick on.
And are any of our players doing that?
And I
know, but we should be. We should be, and that's not what we're doing at the moment. We're not doing that. And we don't have any players that do that. So is that not something we could be missing? I get where you're coming from. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
And there's also the main stat that really matters is that Nottingham Forest are 17 points ahead of us in the league.
Yep.
With +9 goal difference.
I get where you're coming from. And I get he's not that pretty name. No, absolutely. And I get Mark. He's not that kind of pretty.
He's not a sexy name.
Yeah, exactly. He's not the one. You're not talking. Whoever it might be.
That's what I mean. It's not that. I think as a striker with the right service, he does a job, and he could have been like when we brought Teddy Sheringham into United.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wasn't like Andy Cole and Dwight York. He was a different kind of striker, and it worked. But if I said to you, you can buy one of these 2 strikers, Isaac or Woods, which one you buy for Man United?
Chris Wood.
Are you really going to go for Chris Woods for long
Yeah,
ball?
Chris
Or are you
Woods.
going to go, Isaac, he's got the pace, he'll play the football.
Well, actually, I agree with you. I think the thing
you
is,
can say that. You're not.
No. On a serious note, I agree with you. I'd probably would pick Isak. However, I think he's very, very injury prone, and again, it's player profile. I think Isak would probably fit our system a little bit better. I'd be concerned about his injuries. Honestly, I would.
Well, there's another Isak out there in the French league.
What's his name?
Moani, the Canadian striker, Jonathan David.
Oh yeah, Jonathan David. We've been linked with him, I think, every summer. Like Snyder, like Gaitan, Jonathan David for the last
Snyder
3 years.
Do you remember every summer?
No, I get that.
Wesley
We don't
Snyder.
go because it's from the French league. But what people don't look at, when you're finishing second top goal scorer behind Mbappe for 2 seasons on the trot, and I think third top, the other one behind that.
Yeah,
that means he's up there. And
I agree.
He's scoring
I don't know enough
goals.
about him, but yeah, I
also Nottingham Forest are the only team that really, us as United fans, want to win the league above everybody else. It's about we don't really want Liverpool winning the league because then they match our titles. We don't want City coming back and ramping it up. We don't really want Arsenal winning the league because they'll never.
I'd rather Arsenal over everyone's Spurs. I've had this little thing with Arsenal over the years where I want to go back to classic Barclays, where it's United, Arsenal, and I've got some respect for them. You know what I mean? Yeah, and to be honest, I'd take them. I don't care what you guys say. And I know, Nathan, your thoughts on Arsenal is very different to mine. I don't like them. But over Chelsea, City, Liverpool, absolutely every day of the week. Yeah.
No, I'm probably leaning more towards Chelsea, but a lot of my family are from North London and very much got Arsenal affiliation. So,
yeah,
I made a joke about them in my groom speech.
My stepdad's Spurs. My stepdad's Spurs. Anyway, I think we'll wrap up there, boys. It's been a really good conversation. Good to get your thoughts on everything as well. And as I say, we will probably keep talking about this as the weeks go by, and we'll see come the end of the window who we do get in and who we do get out. Thanks to everyone that was getting involved tonight. Obviously, always appreciate your comments. Jonathan, thank you for joining, mate, as well. I really appreciate it. I want to see your face on the stream as well soon, please, buddy. I miss you. But we will get that soon, I'm sure. As I said, loads of you watching today, so just make sure you're liking, subscribing, and sharing as well. Always appreciate it.
And we are hiring.
Yeah, it's a good point. We did put out a tweet the other day. I will be retweeting that straight after this. If you are interested, we are looking for more faces to get involved, to come on streams, and to get talking about United and other Premier League teams as well. We do other shows that are covering the whole league in general, usually on a Thursday. Let us know. Message us, any one of us. Marc, message him, no problem at all, and just let us know if you fancy it. And of course, you got any mates that might be involved too or want to get involved. Let us know. Nathan, I've got a question for you before we leave.
Go on.
Your show. I know that we've spoken about it a few times, potentially doing something at some point. Have you got any potentials over the next couple of weeks?
So I will be doing probably early February. We will be bringing back Future of Football for a fortnightly thing because it's a very difficult show to write when there's not a lot going on there because everything's revolving around transfers at the minute. We've already done a transfer show, so I don't want to go over old rope and all that sort of thing. But yeah, we're going to be bringing back Future of Football in February. We're also going to be doing a new show regarding or centered all around mental health and how that affects us in sport and how it helps us.
Stu's going to be doing that, is he?
Yeah, we're going to be talking to Stu about hosting that. But also we're going to be bringing out it's called the Balls Out Brew chat show. So it is literally just, there's no agenda, there's no fixed script, there's nothing for us to talk about. It is literally just a show where we literally talk absolute balls, and we're just going to do
do that most of the time, Nathan.
Exactly.
I was going to say, so like this show then, yeah?
Straight away I'm just going to put my hands up and say I'll host that because I managed to do that very easily. But yeah, we're going to be doing that very soon, just to talk absolute.
So can you bring a beer?
You can do whatever you want, mate. You can
that sounds great.
You can drink. You can do whatever you want. That is the show for the adults. We'll put an 18+ on that one.
Yeah. After Watershed. No, we used to do a show like that years ago now. And you kind of you brought a beer. It was like 9:00. I think it was on a Sunday or a Saturday. We used to have a good laugh. And so it sounds very, very similar.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that.
Good. All right. Well, good to. Yeah, obviously, I keep saying every week, Nathan, that it's going to be on next Monday, not knowing what the fuck's going on and failing again. But February. So that's sounds
Yeah,
good. And
we'll be
obviously
bringing
everyone...
that back soon, I'm sure.
Excellent stuff. Well, keep your eyes peeled for that. I took that away because it covered your face. Yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. As I said, good to do a show again, and we'll see you later on in the week. And until then, enjoy your weeks.